Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Glad to have you all here. Welcome. Thanks for joining us again for ArtSnacks Open Studio Live. I am excited to have another day of drawing, another week of drawing, and sharing some really cool art supplies with you guys. So if you're hanging out with us live, go ahead and say hi in the chat. You can put where you're from, or you can put, what you're working on tonight. Maybe you're working on a colored pencil drawing too, or maybe, you're doing something totally different. Maybe you're just kind of hanging out and relaxing. But glad to have you here. We have Sarah is here with us, watching from the couch in Boston. So that's awesome. So I'm here in Baltimore, Maryland. So I'm excited to be drawing with you tonight. So let me go ahead and share some of the things that I'm going to be working with. But before I do that, I always like to just shout out about our Mix community. So some of you might be familiar with ArtSnacks Mix, but if you are not, go over to mix.artsnacks.co. It is ArtSnacks' very own social media platform. So it's really cool. It's a bunch of artists that get together. Some are ArtSnacks subscribers, some are not ArtSnacks subscribers, but you should really check it out because the community is awesome. It's a great place to share your works in progress or get feedback about artwork or just see artwork. It's nice to have a whole news feed full of amazing artwork. But the other cool thing is that you get announcements about ArtSnacks. There are also really cool giveaways and sometimes super selective kind of secret things that only the Mix community knows about. So it's definitely worth checking it out. It's over at mix.artsnacks.co and it's free to join. So, definitely worth checking out. And one last thing I wanted to share before we jump into our drawing is that the promo code 10 years is still active. So if you have been kind of still thinking about, maybe you're on the fence about getting a subscription plan, tomorrow is the last day to use this promo code. So again, it's 10 years and you can get $10 off any 3, 6, or 12-month subscription plan. That also includes the quarterly plans. So if there's something you were thinking about checking out, like maybe watercolor snacks or art journal snacks, you can also get that too. So just wanted to let you guys know that tomorrow's the last day to use it. So if you've been, again, on the fence thinking about it, definitely take advantage of this really great sale. Awesome. So, cool. So we have some more people joining us. Welcome everybody who just joined in. Good. Okay, we have Jean's watching in the car, but you're not the one driving. Okay, good. That's a good safety practice. No watching and driving. If you're driving, you can always catch the replay. So let me share with you what tools I brought with me to work with today. If you have them, awesome. Feel free to try them out. But if you don't, no pressure. Any tools that you have to work with today is totally fine. You don't even have to work with colored pencils if you're feeling like working with something else. But for my sketchbook today, I have, it's a Hannah Mule sketchbook, and it's so pretty, and I have not yet used it, so I'm really excited to break in the sketchbook with you guys. But this is a really nice one. It has a nice smooth paper. I don't have the little info thing about it, but you can check it out on the ArtSnacks shop, and that's shop.artsnacks.co. So if you look up Hannah Mule, you can get the info there. But that's the sketchbook I'm working in today. And I have some colored pencils. So I grabbed a couple colors. I'm working with the Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils. They are really nice, super smooth, soft pencils, and they blend really well already, but I am extra excited because I'm going to be trying out these Derwent blender pens. And I'm really excited because these pens are made for blending colored pencil. So they're two different sizes. There's 2 millimeters and 4 millimeters. They come 2 in a pack, and it says that the Derwent blender pens are designed specifically for use with pencils, allowing the artist to blend away pencil lines for smooth and even color. They're effective with both color and graphite pencils. So the way to use them is to gently apply over pencil work to smooth out color. Pencil can be layered over the top if required, so you can go back in with more pencil. And you can use the smaller nib for fine detail, and you can use it over medium and dark as well. So I think that's pretty cool. So let me take those out of here. So they're, come in a nice, easy to access package, which I always appreciate. I don't like when I have to fight to get them open. And they look like they're yellow, but they're just like a clear kind of blending fluid. And then there's this one too. So I'm really excited to play with these. And then I grabbed a couple other extra things. So I have the Zebra MLP2. It's a 2B pencil. This is one of my favorite drawing tools that I've gotten in an ArtSnacks box because it has a really wide, flat nib to it. So I'll kind of try to hold it up a little closer. And I learned from Lee that this is actually like an architecture drafting pencil, which I thought was really cool. Because it's interesting to find applications for not like art tools that were made not for necessarily fine art, but they can be really useful for fine art drawing. And then I also just grabbed a pencil sharpener. This is one that came in an ArtSnacks Plus box one time. It's a Faber-Castell pencil sharpener. So yeah, so I'm excited to do some drawing. Gina likes the Derwent Light Fast pencils. Those are also awesome. I really like those too. It was hard for me to pick which colored pencils to use, but I really like these Caran d'Ache ones, and I also already had them out and ready to go. So I was excited to use these, but the Derwent Light Fast are really nice too. They also make oil colored pencils, which is pretty awesome if you haven't tried those before. I've gotten those through ArtSnacks as well. Let me just make it a little brighter in here. There we go. Get a little more light in here. Okay, there we go. This is a little dim. Okay. So Paula just ordered this sketchbook from the ArtSnacks Shop. So cool, that's exciting. So I'm excited to see what you do with it, what sketches you draw in there. So definitely be sure to share what you work on. And Sarah just finished one of these sketchbooks. That's really cool. Very cool. Yeah, the pencil's great. Oh, wow. Okay, so Sarah said that this is a limited edition. They're not making the pencil anymore. Oh my gosh. So now I'm gonna have to treasure it even more than I already do. Okay, good to know. So I'll have to see if I can find extra lead for this pencil, just so that I make sure that I have it available. Okay, so I don't really have anything in mind, but usually when I start out a sketchbook, I like to kind of have some kind of info or introduction or something. That's always kind of fun. So I might do just like, sometimes I like to draw a little character. So I'm just going to kind of doodle and see where it goes, and then, add some color and then do some blending. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of sketch. I always kind of like to also I like to draw a character because sometimes I'll draw like a speech bubble or something. So, and then I'll put like my name and the sketchbooks. That's kind of what I'm thinking I'll do. And so I'm just gonna kind of doodle and see what takes shape. Man, this is really nice paper too. It's really smooth. Does anybody have any kind of particular way that you like to start a sketchbook? Do you have any like things that you kind of go to when you're starting a brand new sketchbook, or ways that you are, kind of breaking in that fear of starting a totally blank sketchbook? Some of the ways I like to do it also are just to like kind of draw some scribbles or something. That just puts some mark on the paper so it's not a blank page anymore. So, oh, okay. So I have a question from Gina about the colored pencils colors that I chose. So I didn't go over that yet. So I will definitely show you what I picked. So I picked two shades of blue. If you have the set and you want to follow along, I have the phthalo blue, phthalocyanine, sorry. And then the other one is genuine cobalt blue. And then there's also rose, oh my goodness, anthraquinone, quinone. These are harder to pronounce than I was prepared for. Otherwise, I would have practiced. This one is scarlet. Maybe I'm reading the French, and that's why it's hard for me to read. And then we have white. I also picked gray and black. So I picked a couple of hues. So I picked like red, pink, and blue. And then I always pick white and black because I can mix tints and shades, so I can make my colors lighter or darker. And then I usually try to pick a gray because that can neutralize my color. So if I don't want it quite as bright, but I also don't want it to be lighter or darker, I just want it to be more neutral, I'll pick a gray and I can mix that color in, and that helps to make it less saturated. I'm kind of drawing a little cat character, kind of daydreaming a little. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I really like the Caran d'Ache pencils also, because they're the way they go on the paper is so smooth, and it just feels really nice when it goes on. I'll add some little grass and flowers. I saw a comment from Rodney too, that he loves experimenting in a new sketchbook, and that's always really nice. And it's fun too when you get a brand new sketchbook that has maybe a different kind of paper than you're used to working in or working on, and that can be really fun to play around with too, because you get, you know, the way the materials interact with the paper is always a little different. I always like to draw cats because I have a cat, and he has a really big personality, so I tend to be inspired by him to create little characters. So I don't know if I think we've talked about pets before on the live stream, but if you have a pet, you know, feel free to chat about your pet, tell us about them and whether or not they inspire your work. But yeah, I love animals in general. So, you know, I feel like I'm always inspired by the animals that I read about or see, but he's my number one inspiration. Oh, cool. So Gina got the Derwent blender pens, but is not familiar with how to use them yet. So hopefully this can be a good you know, way to practice. And I haven't used them before either. I've used the wax blenders, so this is going to be kind of an adventure for me too. So I'm excited to, you know, be trying them out and just see where it goes. So I'm going to lighten up my pencil a little bit more. I know it's a little hard to see on the camera, but I'll hold it up so you can kind of see the progress. So just kind of like sitting, daydreaming. But I want to erase some of this extra graphite so that it doesn't mix with my colors so much. Sometimes I like to outline my sketch in pen and then erase out the pencil lines, but I'm not doing that today. So, and then the other thing that I'll do sometimes is if I have a kneaded eraser, I'll just kind of tap my drawing with the kneaded eraser, and that lightens it up a good bit, so that I can still see my pencil lines, but it doesn't leave so much graphite on the paper. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So, oh, Paula draws lots of pugs. That's great. Do you have a pug as a pet, or maybe in the past you've had pugs as pets, or are they just your favorite animal? They're very cute. I like pugs. I also really like French bulldogs. They're kind of like pugs, but they have a different face, so they don't look quite the same. But they're pretty cute too. All right, so I'm just gonna do a base color of this like pinky rose color. Yeah, I think it's rose anthraquinone. Quinine. I need to practice pronouncing my color names. Okay, so I'm excited to try this out. So I just want to see what it's like when you're blending just the colored pencil. Ooh. So I don't know if you can see how the color is getting smoother, but what's happening is this marker is picking up the colored pencil and then sort of smoothing it out. So the spots where the paper is coming through for the texture, you can already kind of see the difference with how smooth it is up here compared to the bottom. So it's picking up that pigment and then spreading it around on the paper, which is really nice. So it is filling in all those white spots and making a nice smooth color on the paper. So that's pretty awesome. And since this also works with graphite, if you were doing a value drawing in black and white and you wanted to have really, really smooth value transitions, you could totally use this for a similar purpose and just get nice, smooth transitions on there. Oh, how cute. I'm reading some of the comments in here, and I see the name Buttons. Buttons is a very cute name. So you can see where some of my graphite was still on. That's why I was trying to erase some of it out because it ended up blending in the color, but that's okay because I think I'll go in. I'm definitely going to add some more colors on here, so I'm not too worried about this first layer, this first pass. Okay, so now I think we go in with some light blue. And this is, I think, where things are going to start to get interesting because now I'm starting to blend colors together. Oh, okay, so I can't really adjust my camera, but what I could do is put something underneath to kind of lift it up a little bit. So let's see. Yeah, my camera is kind of in a fixed position, but what I could do is put something underneath and we can bring it up closer that way. So we'll get creative with that. So I'll put a couple of notebooks underneath and that brings it a little closer up. So hopefully you can see a little better now, but let me know if you still need some adjustment and I'll be happy to do it. Ooh, okay, so another good question of whether or not it bleeds through. So far, not really. I think if I had really laid on and gone over the pencil with the markers a lot and really soaked into the page, it would have soaked through a little more, but I think because it dries so quickly, it didn't really have a chance to soak through. So hopefully it's a little easier to see, but let me know if you need any more adjustments on my end, and I'll be happy to bring it up a little closer. Right now, everything is still kind of light still because it's in the early stages of bringing out the drawing. So, okay, great. Yeah, I tend to draw a little bit on the small side. I've been trying to get myself to draw bigger. So this could be a good challenge for me. Okay, so now I think I'll add some red. Okay. So now I'm going to try blending the colors out. Yes, this is really cool. So let me hold it up a little closer so you can really see the details of how the colors are blending together. So when I use this really nice blender pen, it's really bringing those colors together, and see how it's kind of making like a purpley color because it's picking up the red and the blue. So it's making a really nice blended color. And then, I can start to pull that color out into the rest of it, and it makes a really nice soft transition of color. So that's really nice because, if you're trying to get a super smooth look to your color, you want everything to look really soft and blended together. These pencils or these markers are really helpful for that. Oh, it's still hard to see? Okay, I can try to bring it a little closer. We'll add a couple more books underneath. All right, we'll make it even closer. So hopefully that helps too, so you can see it a little more. But it's still kind of in the light stages because it's a light sketch, so you won't see all the details yet, but they'll become more visible as I develop it more. So I'm not outlining this in ink or anything yet, so I'm building up to those darker colors. Okay, so now I have a nice smooth base, and it's nice because you can see how the colors are really blending together very smoothly, which is really nice. I'm going to track down all of my pencils and everything now. Here. Okay. I'm not sure what color eyes I want to give my little cat character yet. So if there's any suggestions, if you think blue eyes or maybe pink eyes or red eyes, whatever color eyes you think might be interesting, let me know. Yeah, I usually don't press too hard with my sketches. If I press too hard with my pencil and I want to erase something later, or if I don't want my pencil lines to show, then it will be really hard to lighten them up. So usually when I do my sketches, I do very, very light sketches first, and then, you know, I'm able to see those lines. And if there's something that I don't want to keep anymore, then you know, I'm able to erase those out, and then don't have, you know, really dark marks to have to try to erase later. Oh, gray eyes? Oh, I like that. That's a good suggestion. I hadn't thought about that, but I think that would look really cool. And I think I actually put I think their thumb would be actually not, wouldn't be able to see it. This way. Kind of try to keep my lines light before I made too many decisions. There we go. Try to fix that a little bit. Ooh, mix the blue and pink for purple. That is a good idea. Yeah. So the blending is pretty neat with this, because it really kind of like, you know, when you're coloring with colored pencils, you can really see the lines, you know, of where you put the marks down. But this makes it super smooth, almost like when you blend colors together with watercolors. It's pretty cool with how, you know, soft it looks. It looks almost like it's been painted on with paint, which I think is really neat. So you know if so these are wax-based pencils, but I'm not sure if they would work with oil pencils, but it would definitely be something worth trying. I mean, that's like the cool thing about you know, playing around with different materials, is you can test them out to see if maybe they work. So I don't see why not. I think it would make sense that it would work with it. And if it works with graphite tends to be a little bit on the oilier side. So kind of, I think it would work with them. Now, let's see. There were a couple of really good suggestions about mixing the purple. So I think I'm going to use this kind of like light pink color and then blend in the blue and make a really light purple for purple eyes. I'm just gonna have to be careful I don't pick up any of the really dark colors. So let's see. So here's my little one. I'm gonna use this detail one for this. Cool. So this is like a really, really light lavender color, but I think that looks nice. And then I think I'll go on top with the white, and that will help lighten it up. Okay. I think I'll also, let's see if, so I made a little mistake on here where I put that thumb and I decided I didn't want it. So I kind of tried to erase it out a little bit. And so now I'm going to try to see if the blender helps to hide that mistake. Let's see if that works. I think it helps a little bit. Okay. dark gray eyes like that. Okay. I'll add a little bit of a shadow on here too. Like that. Okay, so I decided to kind of outline it in blue because I feel like that is a little bit lighter than having a super dark outline, but it's dark enough that you can really see the shape really well. Like that. And I think I might add a little bit more of like a fur texture. I might go in and do that later. I'm getting ahead of myself. But I think that will help too because he looks a little too smooth. I'm going to make sure it looks like he has fur. Oh, and I totally forgot about the tail. So I'll add that too. I was so excited to blend the colors that I forgot to do part of the tail. And then go in and add some blue. I'm using the blue for the shadow too. And I might go in and add some more of that. But I'm going to kind of blend these together. I think what's cool is these pencils already blend together so well that it's nice to test them out with this blender marker as well, just to try something different. Something like that. It does feel like it kind of like picks up a lot of the pigment if you put more colored pencil down, which makes sense because you're putting more of the actual material onto the paper. So I feel like I had a little bit of an easier time blending when I didn't add too much colored pencil on the paper first. So maybe that's something to try out if you're trying these blender pens out, to put different amounts of pencil down. So try either pressing down harder or not pressing down as hard, just to see what happens when you go to blend them. Because I think the harder I press, the more difficult it is for me to get a smooth blend. So that might be something to keep in mind. But I also like to kind of build up my colors when I'm working. So for me, maybe it feels like it's a little too much all at once. So I think Gina said that she was trying out the blender pens, but is anybody else trying them out? Or is it something that maybe you're thinking about trying? And does anybody work with colored pencils often? I find myself using colored pencils. They're one of my go-to tools because I like, being able to build up the color, but also have the textures with colored pencil, how I can use kind of mark making as much as I can have them be smooth. So I'm curious if anybody else likes colored pencils for that same reason, or maybe, you haven't really tried them out before, but you're interested. Oh, great. So yeah, Gina is trying them out, just trying to practice and improve on them. I think that's great. Oh, cool. So Jessica is using a blender pencil. Okay. Oh, neat. Oh, so you're using the whole bean liquid blender, which is kind of like mineral spirits. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense because it would lift up the colored pencil pigment and separate it from the wax. So yeah, that sounds interesting though. You'll have to share your experiments of using the colored pencil and the blender together in mix so we can see your progress. So now I'm going back into this sketch with my blue pencil, and I'm adding in some like fur texture so that I have layers of color in here and layers of texture. So it'll be kind of like, and I think what I'll do is probably go in with the pink pencil again too, so that it's like pink and blue fur, because I really wanted to blend the two together. Oh, cool. April uses the Inktense pencils off and on. Cool. I like those too. Inktense pencils. They're really nice. Those are the watercolor pencils, I think. And they're really nice. Well, I think they're not really watercolor pencils. They're like ink pencils. They're pretty cool. I think they're a little bit more, they last a little bit longer. So sometimes the watercolor pencils will lift back up after if you add more water. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. I think the Inktense, once they are on the paper, they don't get revived with water. So, oh, hello, we have Laurelyn joining us. Welcome. So glad you're here. We're just doing a little colored pencil sketch of a blue and pink cat today, and we're using some colored pencil blenders. Thank you. I'm trying to make something pretty cute. Yeah, I like the texture with mark making. Something I've been trying to incorporate more of. So, but I always think it's fun when you layer up the colors. I like to use alcohol markers to lay down a wash of color and then go back on top with colored pencil to add more depth and layer the colors. And I feel like the Derwent blenders kind of do something similar. If you go over your colored pencil with an alcohol marker, sometimes you can get the same kind of blending effect. What I like about these Derwent blenders is that it's just plain, there's no extra color on top. So when you do your blending, it's just the colors that you use your colored pencil with. So you're not adding anything extra if you don't want to, which is really good. In there. Oh, April, you're redrawing your penguin. Were you drawing that tonight, or is that a project you were working on before? They don't, oh, so the Inktense don't revive after they dry, yeah. So I guess that's why they're Inktense. They're intensely inky and they don't dry, or they don't move after they dry. All right, so bring it up a little closer. So I have my furry little kitty cat on here, and you can see. So I wanted it to have a little bit more color here, so I added more, but then blended it out. So you can see how those like blender markers really pulled the color out, so it kind of fades into the next color. I did the same with the ears and around the body. So there's some depth of color and some nice, you know, like nice areas where the colors blend together. And then, I can go on top. So it looks really smooth underneath, and then, I can add the texture on top, which is really fun. And then I think I'm going to go in and just add a little bit more outline to that. Maybe add a couple of little like details where there's fuzzy edges on here. Oh, okay. So I'm reading about how April was using the Inktense pencils and used a water brush, but too much water came out of the brush, so you didn't quite get the results you were looking for. But that's okay. It happens. And you can always do a trick, like if you scan your drawing, or if you have a light table or even a really sunny window, you can trace your drawing onto another piece of paper and then try again. So it's not the end of the world if a drawing doesn't turn out quite as you expected. You can always go back in and try again. So there's no limit on how many times you can draw something. I always remind myself that when, I make a mistake or a drawing didn't go quite as planned, and I feel kind of sad about how that came out. I'm like, well, it's okay. We can draw it again. But sometimes I need a little break. If I was really, really like invested in a drawing and spent a lot of time on it, then, sometimes it's a little discouraging. You just need that little break, and that's okay. So now in my speech bubble, see that a little more. Add some of that grass texture. I think I'll leave these kind of like, I'm not going to do the same kind of coloring in and blending, because I like the contrast of the line work and the really colored in part. I feel like it makes it feel like it's kind of like a magical little cat creature. Welcome, Chloe. Glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us. So we're working on a drawing in the Hannah Mule sketchbook, and I'm testing out some really cool Derwent blender pens to blend my colored pencil colors together. Reblending this a little because I feel like it's just got a little too colored in. And then maybe I'll add just some little spots of color here and there with the red. And then I feel like he needs something, like some kind of hat, or some kind of little accessory maybe on here. So I don't know. I feel like he needs some kind of red, maybe a party hat. I don't know what you guys think. I feel like that could look pretty cute. Some kind of little... I think I'm going to go for it. Like that. And then maybe I'll give it a pattern or something. I think I'm going to use the blender pen on this too. Yeah, it's really interesting just how different the texture of the colored pencil looks. I feel like it almost looks like paint. It's a little shiny because it's drying, but you can really see the difference with how that looks compared to when I just first put the colored pencil onto the paper. So let's see. Give it an and like it has that little string that ties it on like that. And we're celebrating the new sketchbook. So it's like kind of like a new sketchbook party. And everyone here is invited. Oh, good. Gina, you're using the blender pen. Yay. I'm so excited to see how it turns out. So yes, please do share your before and after pictures on Nix. And don't be afraid to use it. Just jump on in, dive in. I wasn't sure what I was doing with it tonight, and I just kind of jumped in and tried it out and saw what happened. So, you know, it's good to experiment, and that's what our sketchbooks are for, right? So, you know, it's a safe place to be able to just try something totally different than maybe we would try with something we were working on that we felt was more precious. So, this is a good time to be bold and try something out. Okay, so I'm not sure what I want to have my little character saying yet. Usually what I'll do is put my name or something like that, and then or you know, I'll say this is the sketchbook of. Sometimes I start to write a little poem. Sometimes I'll put the year or contact information in case the sketchbook is lost. So there's really all kinds of things you can do when you're starting a brand new sketchbook and you're trying to think of ways to just jump in and draw something on the first page. So I don't know if anyone has any suggestions for what they think I should put, or maybe, you know, if there's anything that you like to put in your sketchbook. I'd love to hear about that and maybe get some inspiration from everybody. But I might think about it a little bit more. And I'm trying to decide if I want to add something here in the background or just kind of keep it plain. Maybe I feel like it needs something, maybe like a butterfly. Oh, thanks, Rodney. I'm glad you like the party hat. Yeah, I just felt like it needed something a little bit festive. And I feel like it also needs like a little friend, a little butterfly friend, maybe. And I'll give a butterfly. I'll start with pink wings. And of course the butterfly also has to be wearing a party hat because it's a party. So, you know, I'll have to give it a little teeny tiny red party hat so that it feels included in the sketchbook party. Yes, April, I read your mind. You've been thinking that you needed a butterfly for a while. I finally got your message. Give it some little feet. And I think it needs some little spots like that. And of course, a tiny party hat. So let me hold that up so you guys can see, because this is a really tiny little detail on there that it has a little party hat on. So it's a little friend is joining in and has on its little party hat. And I think I'll give some blushy cheeks. Like that. Oh, cool. So Rodney is working on an experimental sketchbook and taking lots of risks and trying new techniques and having fun. And having fun's the most important part, I think. But yeah, that's really awesome. I'm so excited to hear that, Rodney. That's really fantastic because, you know, that's just such a good way to be able to try out new things and not feel intimidated or, you know, worried about the outcome. You know, you just like have fun and make new discoveries, and then maybe from that point on, you know, that's a technique that you're using all the time. And I think that's pretty cool. And I decided to give this little cat a little outfit. I'm giving him a little t-shirt. And let's do some red pants. I just decided, why not give him a little outfit? Just a simple little outfit, t-shirt and shorts. But once the party hat happened, then I was like, well, now I need to have a little outfit. So, oh, welcome. We have Chelonius is joining us from Colorado. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, great. Rodney's saying that ArtSnacks makes it easy to experiment and take risks. So that's awesome. So I'm so happy that you had that experience. I agree. I love, you know, getting to try out different things that I wouldn't normally have thought to try out. And the other cool thing is that in the plus boxes, you get those little cards with information. So if you're not quite sure how to use something, you get, you know, tips on how to use them, which is really, really nice and helpful. All right, so I'm going to keep thinking about what I want to put here in this part of the sketchbook. I'll probably write this part in pen just so that it doesn't smudge. So I'll definitely share that with you guys. Yeah, so Gina's saying the blender is pretty cool and makes a big difference in vibrancy. So I can't wait to see your before and after posted on Mix. That's going to be amazing. So definitely head over there and check that out. If you didn't know, we do have a group on Mix for Open Studio. So if you want to share what you made while watching, you can share it there and tag Open Studio or post it in that group. So, you know, feel free to do that there. And I usually will share a photo of the final drawing plus plus the playback of the video. So, but yeah, so, you know, definitely go over there and check it out to see the recap of everything. So before I go, let me just go over the things I went over in the beginning, just in case you missed it. So this sketch was done in the Hannah Mule sketchbook. The colored pencils I used today were the Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils. I did my sketch in the MLP Zebra 2B pencil, which I learned is limited edition. So unfortunately, they're not being made anymore, but they're pretty awesome pencils. I used the Derwent blender pens. So these are good for blending colored pencil, which I used today, but you can also blend graphite with these as well. So that's maybe something we'll try out another day. And if you are not already on Mix, check that out. So you heard me mention it before, but to get there, it's just over at mix.artsnacks.co. It's free to check out, free to join, and a great community of art snackers and artists alike. And then don't forget that there is, you can still use the code 10 years to get $10 off any 3, 6, or 12-month subscription plan or quarterly plan. So if there's something that you were thinking about trying out, or if you're just really excited and ready to join the ArtSnacks community and get your own subscription box, definitely check it out and take advantage of this sale. It does end tomorrow on the 31st, so use that while you can. So oh, and a quick question about those blender pens. They don't smell like anything. I was not bothered by them. I'm pretty sensitive to smell, and I was not affected. I didn't notice anything. So they're odorless, which is really nice. So good question there at the end. I'm glad you asked that. But yeah, these are great. So definitely check these out if you're somebody who works with colored pencil often. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. It was really fun. You know, today was just a experimental drawing for me. I didn't really know what I was going to draw or where it was going to go. So it was really fun to have all of you there with me while I was trying it out. You know, that's kind of the spirit of Open Studio. It's just like when you hang out with your artist friends and just experiment and try things out. So thank you all so much, and I'll see you again next week. So thanks, guys.